my personal requirements is the tradition that I come from. They gave black belts in weapons, which is they don't do it anymore in Aikido. There was only one sensei, his name is Morihiro Saito Shihan. Shihan means master teacher. He was a 9th degree black belt. He's the one that lived with the founder for the last 23 years, the founder's son. He helped the founder develop weapons. They were developed in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And many days it was just the two of them practicing. So many other people that are involved in Aikido never got that opportunity to train like that and learn. And so when the founder died in 1969, Saito Shihan came up with 5 black belts just in weapons to keep what's called the Iwama tradition of weapons alive. If you got all 5 black belts, they were called the Minkyo Kaiden. My first sensei has all 5 of those belts. He lives in Berlin, Germany. Probably there's several, I don't know how many people practice Aikido. It's probably up over 1 million worldwide. And I'm going to guess that only 20 or 25 people in the entire world have these all 5 weapons belts. They're long scrolls. They actually come out like this. And Morihiro Saito would hand calligraphy them with all the techniques that was for each one. Now we get certificates, but these were masterpieces of calligraphy. I had the honor once, my sensei unrolled them all for me and let me look at them. It's pretty, I think I'm the only one here in the United States who ever showed them all to. So I'm trying to keep that tradition alive, so separate from the tests that we just did, I have weapons tests. And I try to follow pretty much the curriculum that he established, Morihiro Saito. So today what Jeremy's going to do is he's going to do the 5 weapons tests, and they're simple, more complicated, as a recap. My personal requirement is before you become a black belt, you're going to have to know the entire curriculum of my weapons tradition. So he's done some of them as part of this test, so we'll skip those so we don't do them again. But we're going to start out with simple things, more complicated things, and these are the way that he learned them. And what happens if you've done martial arts, a lot of times you learn a simple technique and then you get a belt, and then you get a belt, and somebody asks you to do that simple technique and your brain goes blank because you don't practice it anymore, you're too good. So what we do is we repeat it, because someday he's going to teach it. And I want him to teach it exactly the way I taught him. One of the things I don't like in martial arts is everybody wants to find their own path and they want to develop their own style and look different. I want myself to look like a reflection of Morihiro Saito Shihan, and I want my students to look as much like that as possible. So I resist things on the internet where they're hopping around on one leg and pulling their ear and stuff. I just don't want to do that stuff. And so what he's going to do is he's going to do a traditional recap of weapons, and the students here are going to help him. So, have a seat, Jeremy. Get a kin, please.
Hey.
The first thing he's going to do are the 7 kin salutis. Saluti means individual practice. This is the first thing you learn with the Boken.
Nice. 1から7、剣素振り。1の素振り。あっ2の素振り。3の素振り。4 5の素振り。ああ6の素振り。ああああ7の素振り。あああああ
Good. Good, Joe, please. So he just did the 7 basic forms of a sword. Now he's going to do the 20 basic forms of the Jo. He's called Niju Pon Suburi. It can also be called Niju Jo Suburi. Jo is the actual weapon. I like Pon because it appeals to my elitist side. In Japanese, they count by shapes of object. Something that's pon is long and narrow, like a Jo. So we call it Niju Pon Suburi. Hajime.
20本素振り。月の部、上空突き。あ返し突き。あ後ろ突き。あ突き下段返し。あはいあ突き上段返し。あはいあ正面の部正面打ち込み。あはい連続打ち込み。あはいあ正面打ち後ろ突き。あはい正面打ち下段返し。あはいはい逆翼面後ろ突き。あはい2つの部2つ下段返し。あはい正面2つ打ち。あはい2つ8の字返し。ハソの部ハソ返し打ち。はいハソ返し突き。はいハソ返し後ろ突き。あはいハソ返し後ろ打ち。ハソ返し後ろフライ。左の部左にガリ返し打ち。右にガリ返し突き。はい
That's 20. There's a 21st one. It's a combination of the last 2.
左にガリ返し打ち。右にガリ返し突き。
そうですね。Rick, do you have a spoken?
はい。
Rick, you spoken?
はい。
How about getting?
はい。
Rick, get your vote.
はい、先生。アポギリ。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。
When we got to this, he looked somewhat familiar. In his actual test, he did one very similar. each tradition does it differently. He did each one very well. Rick Onegashimasu.
I guess.
This is the first partner practice you learn. Kadari Owase and Mini Owase. You learn to move out of the way and you learn to move with a partner. As Rick strikes, Jeremy will move with him. You'll notice it's a very safe way to learn how to handle a weapon. We're not getting real close. The first one he was short, the second one he was over the wrist, the third one he'll be over his head. This one he'll use his hand. Other side, please. So that completes the first level. We would do that at about 6 or 7 months training in Aikido. The second one, you need a Joe, please.
Hi.
Remember the partner practice that he did on the left side was the Cadillac. First you learn how to do it by yourself. It's going to do it once. It's called Sanjuichi no Kata.
Sanjuichi no kata. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11、12、13、14、15、16、17、18、19、20、21、22、23、24、25、26、27、28、29、30、31。
Rick, bring me Joe.
Nice.
This is the very first Joe partner practice we teach, and it's a continuous movement pattern. One of the things we work on is what's called Mai, maintaining the proper distance between each other and learning how to move at the same time. There's really, in Aikido, there's not any real attacking where we're trying to break through. When we do partner practices, what we're really trying to do is help each other learn the technique, learn the angles, learn the movement patterns. And we don't really fight. So, Roko no Jo, Hajime.
1、2、3、4、5、6、1、2、3、4、5、6、1、2、3、4、5、6。
Anyway, but now you know you're aiming stop. Rick, we need 2 vocals, please.
I see.
And you just saw partner practice where they didn't touch weapons. This is the first partner practice you learn where you're actually touching each other's weapon. One of the things, you notice we haven't touched each other with a weapon. It's really considered rude, bad form. You get yelled out by the sensei. If I'm doing and I touch him like that, I go, Gomen aside. You know, we stop and apologize. No touching with weapons. These are pretty heavy. After we're finished, if you've never held one, if you hit somebody in the head with this, you can do some damage. Okay, go no Owase. Okay, Shichi no Owase.
Hi. Hi.
Good. Take the focus, please.
Right.
So, get a joke though. At this point in time, you're at the third level and you would do a partner practice of the 31 that Michael and Jeremy already did in the other test. So Jeremy's going to do a 13 movement kata. It's called Jusan no Kata.
Jusan no kata. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11、12、13。
Good. Michael, could you join us? You can also do this as a partner practice, which is what we're doing.
Each.
We just learned this way, okay? And they're doing really well. It's short, but for some reason it's complicated. This is harder to do than the 30. So you did fine. Okay, now, kumitachi. Each of you get a bow.
Hi. Hi.
Now we're going to do partner practices with weapons that are a little more complicated. Kumitachi 1 to 5 with hinka, 1 hinka for each. A hinka is a variation. They'll do the basic number 1, and they'll do a hinka with number 1, then 2. Just go one way.
Hi.
11.
1から6。1の番。
So that's the basic form. Now what's going to happen is Jeremy's going to cut it short and stop Michael with a sudden movement. Good. Go to number 2.
2の組み立ち。
Basic movement. Now I hinka split. Continue.
3の組み立ち。
Continue.
4の組み立ち。
Number 4.
5の組み立ち。はい。With hinka. はい。はい。
Good. Sometimes this is called the 6th kumitachi. It's kimasubi no tachi. In Japanese, that means tying the knot. So we practice weapons taking. We've seen some of it already. Liz, she's going to have the Joe, and Jeremy's going to take it away from her. And you're ready. They'll do 5 techniques. Michael, Hachidori. Now we're going to practice on taking the sword away. 5 techniques, please. This is a long throw. That's why I did this. What do you got tonight? Okay, Slava, bring your knife.
Nice, Sensei.
Okay, we're going to do various things with the knife. First thing, it's Tantodori, which means you're going to take the knife away. The first is ski. So, on the other part of the test, he did 3 against ski, 3 against Yokonuchi, 3 against Shomanuchi. Just now do 1 against Shomanuchi.
Nice, Sensei.
Now 1 against Yokonuchi. Slash. Defense against slash. Slash is where you're doing that. That was very effective. His wrist doesn't turn that way. I promise you, he wouldn't break it if it almost did. Do that one again. Like I taught you.
Right.
Still hard to hold on to it.
Hi.
Okay. Knife to the the throat, 2 variations.
Yeah.
So somebody walks up, sticks a knife in your throat, you raise your hands and say, please don't hurt me. So, do that one again. And this time, instead of moving, knock the knife offline first.
Right?
'Cause that would work against the gun also. So you want to make sure you get it offline in case you get around it, it doesn't go right through. Knife to the back. So when you got your back turned, you don't know which hand they're going to have the knife in. Depending on which hand it's in will change the technique. Put it in the other hand. And you'll notice when he comes around, he does a different technique. Somebody got I'm not getting tired, what? Yeah, no. Just line up.
Ready? Ready?
So, you passed. Flying colors. You're a first cue. We got 3 more brown belts that are going to be moving up. You going to help them?
Hey.
Good. So you notice there's 4 people here with brown belts. You wear a brown belt for 2 different ranks. So Jeremy was a second cue. These 3 are second cues. He's the first cue. They'll be moving up over the next months. You're going to move up. You're going to move up. I probably won't move up. Nobody got to his understand. Thank you all for attending. It was long. Thank you for your patience.